Hello, students in Humans and the Environment. I am very excited for this semester. I've created a course that I hope you will really enjoy, and I'm looking forward to getting started. So I'm going to talk through the syllabus today and the Moodle page, how to navigate the course. And if you have trouble getting started or if you have any trouble throughout the course, please don't hesitate to reach out to me for support. I'm here to help, and I like talking to students about the course. So don't hesitate to reach out with questions. So this is the syllabus. It may look a little bit different by the time you see it, but it starts with this welcome section. I talk about the structure of the course, and the way the course works is that each week there will be a set of assigned readings or materials. Sometimes there's a podcast or a video, and you will be required to read all of those. Most weeks I'll also have a video lecture that you'll be required to watch, and then most weeks you'll also take a quiz to make sure you're keeping up with the readings and the materials. The quizzes will be available from Thursday morning to Sunday night at 11:59 p.m. On the week that they're assigned. So this week there's no quiz, but next week, the week that starts August 25th, you'll have your first quiz, and that will be due, the quiz will be available until Sunday, August 31st at 11:59 p.m. So every time there's a quiz, it's due at 11:59 p.m. on a Sunday. So make sure you keep up with the quizzes. There are 10 quizzes throughout the semester, and the aim of the quizzes is just to make sure that you're keeping up with the materials assigned for the course. In addition to quizzes, there will be a journal that you'll keep for the class. You should purchase a journal, a notebook, blank book that you only use as a journal in this class. And on the schedule, which is below here, the journal entries are written as prompts here, and so you'll respond to those prompts. There's a prompt almost every week, but not quite. And you'll just respond in writing to whatever is listed as the journal prompt. And then 3 times throughout the semester, you'll meet with a discussion group. Those groups have been assigned and are at the link called List of Groups on Moodle. I'll show you the Moodle page in a moment, but you'll be meeting 3 times throughout the semester with your group for a discussion, and the discussion will largely center around the journal and discussing the journal entries that you created. At the end of the semester, you'll evaluate your participation in the journal. You'll submit an evaluation to let me know how you did keeping up with the journal in the group meetings, and how your group mates did also keeping up with that participation. I won't collect the journals. They're just going to serve as the basis for your group discussions. The group discussions are really important. If you miss them, you can't get better. If you miss one, it's a 15% grade deduction. And if you miss all 3 of those meetings, you can't pass the class. So you will be deciding your group meeting dates during this first week of the semester. You'll reach out to your group mates to schedule those. The meetings take place during the 4th, 11th, and 14th week of the semester. So I'll explain that more when I'm talking about the Moodle page and where to submit that. So you'll be keeping a journal, meeting 3 times to discuss it. You'll be taking a quiz almost every week, and you will also either write a paper or complete a project for the class. So the paper is a traditional paper. I'm going to scroll down past the schedule here and show you the paper assignment, which has 3 prompts already listed in the syllabus that you can write in response to. It's a 5 to 7 page double-spaced paper. You can respond to any of these prompts, or if you want to write about something different, I'm open to that, but we need to discuss it before you start writing a different paper. If you don't want to write a paper, you can do a project instead, and the projects are more open-ended. There's a really elaborate grading rubric here for the paper, but that doesn't exist for the project just because of the variety of types of projects that people might want to take on. I've given some examples of projects: creating a piece of art or a performance and displaying it in public, making a book or a website about climate change for kids, organizing an event where you talk about environmental ethics, creating an original musical composition using sounds of nature. We're going to listen to a famous musician who did that, and the compositions that he created and what that was like for him, and what he learned about how nature has evolved to create a kind of orchestrated musical piece on its own. Just if we pay attention, we can tune into that. That's one of my favorite things we're going to talk about through the semester. Other examples: organizing a book club, reading something that we haven't read in the class and talking through a book club with that, interviewing elders, talking to legislators, making a documentary. There are a whole the possibilities for doing a project are endless, and so that's also open-ended. If you want to do something that's not listed here, you'll submit a proposal and then I'll comment on that and you'll work on a project. So and then there's a final exam. So I think that's the gist of what's expected. So the journals, the group meetings, 3 group meetings throughout the semester that you'll schedule this week, the project or paper, and the final exam are the main components of the class. And then every week you'll have a whole set of interesting things to read or listen to. And we'll go from there. So the Moodle page, bring that up here. So the Moodle page is divided by week. I've started with links to stay safe and healthy, which is the most important thing throughout the semester. So I know it's a hard time for people, and I encourage you to reach out for support if you need it. That's mental health support as well as other kinds of support. Please don't hesitate to reach out for support in the class if you need help with submitting your materials on time, or if something has interfered with your ability to complete the work on schedule. Please let me know about that as soon as you can so I can help you succeed in the class. After this section with links to support your health, campus resources and things like that, there's a welcome section here. I'll have the syllabus posted here, which you should look at as you watch this video, or before or after, I guess, but make sure you've read it thoroughly. The first quiz will include the syllabus, so make sure you're prepared for that. You will also post a video of yourself introducing yourself and showing us the journal that you got, and discussing the first journal entry prompt, which is assigned for the first week of the semester. So I've uploaded a sample of that video introduction to this video introductions page, which I won't log into right now, but you can log into and view. This link has the list of groups, so you can find out who your group mates are right away, and don't wait to email them, because by the end of this first week, by August 24th at 11:59 p.m., you will need to tell me the meeting dates that you have planned with your group and who will be facilitating each meeting. So you should decide for each meeting on a facilitator, one person per meeting. Everybody should facilitate one of the meetings, and you'll let me know at this link when your meeting will be, where you plan to meet, and who will be facilitating each meeting. You're welcome to meet on Zoom or in person. It's up to you. The second group meeting will be recorded. You'll take a video recording of that second meeting and you'll share that on Moodle. And that also can be by Zoom or in person. The details for each group meeting, I should have said, are back here in the syllabus. You can see the meetings on the schedule here. So group meeting 1 will take place during week 4. That means it's due by the following Sunday, 9/14 at 11:59 p.m. And after each meeting, you'll submit a write-up of the meeting. But the discussions here, it says, complete this week's readings and videos before your meeting. That will always be the case, so you'll always want to make sure that you have time when you plan your meeting to complete that week's readings and a journal entry, if there is one, before that meeting. And here at group meeting 1, you'll be introducing yourselves, getting to know each other a little bit, and then discussing the materials assigned for this week, those listed right here. So you will have had to have read them first. And you'll also talk about your second and third journal entries at that meeting. So like that, each meeting is laid out on the schedule so you know when it has to be planned for. And then you'll submit the write-ups, or if it's the meeting that has to be recorded, you'll submit those through here. Let's see, week 11 is when you record the meeting. So here you'll upload the video to YouTube and then submit a link here on Moodle to that second group meeting which is due November 2nd by 11:59 p.m. The quizzes are also available on the week that they're assigned. Also, the readings and the lectures, video lectures, are posted during that week. And there will be a PowerPoint to help you follow along with each lecture. Don't work ahead. The lectures that are there now are really just placeholders. I'll be updating them and posting new lectures before we get to that week. So make sure you don't work ahead, because the lecture might not be ready for viewing yet. Let's see. For the paper and the project, you'll submit, if in the case of a paper, you'll submit a rough draft, and in the case of a project, you will submit your project proposal by, let me find the dates here so I don't tell you the wrong thing. If you scroll down past the schedule, each of the assignments is outlined in detail. So for the paper or project, you'll submit your first draft there by October 9th by 11:59 p.m. For the paper, that will be a complete first draft. For the project proposal, that will be a proposal, but it should be a well-researched proposal. So the idea is that you'll submit your proposal, you'll have a great idea, and I'll say, all right, go ahead, this is great, and you will hit the ground running after that. So you should have already done a lot of the legwork and the preliminary work to write the proposal in the first place. If you have an idea to work with a campus organization, for example, you should reach out to them long before the proposal is due, so you can figure out if the project is actually going to be doable or what's possible, especially if someone else is involved. And the projects should all engage other members of the community. That's one of the points of the project, is to leverage the learning that you do in the course and to take that to a larger audience. So the project proposal should be well researched and well thought about before you actually submit it. And the paper draft will be a first draft of a paper. Those are both due by October 9th at 11:59 p.m. You'll only do one of those, so you get to choose if you'd rather write a paper with more standard grading rubric and more clear guidelines, or if you want to sort of blaze your own path and do a project, do something more creative that has less structure around it. After you submit the first draft and the proposal, you'll submit that before fall break. That's the 9th. And then the following week, which is the week of fall break, the only thing you have to do that week is meet with a partner to talk about your paper or your project. I should say you could also complete the project with a group if you choose, up to 3 people, up to 4 people per group, so you can work with up to 3 people. And then your project group would be paired with a partnering project group, and I'll figure out what those pairings are after you submit the first drafts of your papers and your proposals, so that I can do that in the most sensible way, decide which papers go nicely together that you'd want to talk about with. So after you submit the paper, during the week of fall break, you will meet with a partner or partners and talk about your projects or your papers with one another, and you'll give feedback. There will be explicit instructions for those meetings posted on Moodle, and you will have to submit a write-up. Let's find fall break. October 15th is when the week starts officially after fall break. So you'll submit this write-up after that meeting, talking about how the meeting went, what changes you plan to make to your proposal or your paper. And then the final submission for those will be due, if it's the paper, it will be due, let's see if I get this right, it will be due during week 12. Here, the term paper is due November 9th by 11:59 p.m. That will be the final term paper. After your final draft, you will include the draft with your partner's written feedback, and again, I'll be providing really detailed instructions for how to do that. And then you'll submit that here as a single document, formatted in 2 different ways. So that will all be explained more. I'm sure you'll forget all this by the time November 9th rolls around. feels like forever from now, even though it'll be here before we know it. But that's the idea for the term paper. So you submit a rough draft. The following week, you meet with a partner and collect and provide feedback on their paper, receive feedback on your own paper, and then you write a final draft and include all that feedback when you submit your final draft by November 9th. For the projects, kind of the same. You'll submit your proposal by October 9th. The following week, you will meet with a project partner, people or a person working on a different project than you and or the people you're working with on your project. And then you'll provide feedback to one another with detailed instructions about how to do that. And then you'll submit your final project materials by November 16th at 11:59 p.m. Those materials might be sound files, videos, written stuff. It could be something you need to turn in hard version, like a poster or something, if you want to do that, or a book, if you made a book. And we can make a plan to meet up for me to collect those from you. And then there will be a final exam. It will be open from Thursday to Sunday, the same schedule as the quizzes during the final exam week. Let's see what else I've forgotten. Okay, the AI policy, I want to talk about that a bit. So AI is strictly prohibited for anything you're writing in this class. You shouldn't use it to develop an outline for your paper, improve sentences or passages that you've already comprised, suggest possible answers to the paper prompts, to make a sample draft. Obviously, you should not use AI to write the paper for you so that you have an idea of what to write about. Or even to provide comments or improve on a rough draft that you've written. You should not use AI in any way whatsoever in the creative process of writing your paper or in creating any written component of a project. And you most definitely should not use AI to answer quiz questions or final exam questions. All of that is strictly prohibited. I guess two limited ways in which you can use AI. One is to assist with comprehension of the material. Now, that's not to take the place of actually reading the materials that are assigned. That would be a disservice to yourself if you do not actually do the readings and just ask AI to summarize things for you. You also run the risk of AI telling you the wrong thing, because AI still does not quite know everything and often makes mistakes, and you won't be able to know what those mistakes are unless you've done the reading yourself. But it also inhibits your growth as a student. It inhibits your capacity to think for yourself, to retain information. All of these things will be hindered if you use AI in that way, so it is strictly prohibited. You can use it after you've done the reading to help clarify concepts as you study the material. A good way to think about what's a legitimate use is to think about what questions you would ask me about the reading. You wouldn't say, tell me what this is about, I haven't read it. But you might say, when the author says this thing, what do they actually mean? And AI can definitely help you with that. So that's one way, only for comprehension, not in the generation of any assignment material or answering questions on quizzes or exams or anything like that. The other way you can use it is in a limited way when you're completing the project. And that limited way is that you could use it to expand your thinking, not to replace your thinking. Okay, so you want to keep your use of AI in creating the project. You could use it to brainstorm project ideas. That's fine with me if it opens your mind more and gets you thinking outside of the box in bigger ways. But you should not be using it to refine your writing, to improve on your writing, to give you ideas for how to write part of the project or anything like that. It's just really for idea generation and, again, for comprehension. If you use AI when it's prohibited, it does constitute a violation of the Student Code of Conduct, and my least favorite part of teaching in the last few years has been investigating these misuses of AI, following up with students. I would begin with a one-on-one interview with you to see if I still have suspicions that you used AI in illicit ways after that, and then I'd follow through with whatever university response is necessitated by that use of AI. So I hope I don't have to do that. It's my least favorite part of my job, and I want to help you grow as a student and as a person and become a better thinker and a stronger writer, a more skilled intellectual. And so please don't use AI. It's contrary to all of those aims that we both share for the completion of this class. If you have any questions about what uses of AI are allowed, please don't hesitate to reach out about that. I think I've covered the structure of the course. If you're going to miss something because of a serious reason, an illness or anything like that, please don't hesitate to reach out. I'm pretty understanding about offering extensions or whatever you need to support your success in the class. But only if you do so in a communicative way. You let me know as soon as you can, and that I know that it's an honest and serious thing that is keeping you behind or whatever the issue may be. But please don't hesitate to reach out and ask for support or let me know what's going on with you if it relates to your performance in the class so that I can support you. There's a discussion forum on the Moodle page, which is optional. You can use that if you want to communicate with the rest of the class. That may be useful for your projects especially. I will hold office hours on Zoom. That's Tuesday mornings from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. I have hundreds of students, so it's really hard for me to get to know people individually beyond actually meeting with you all and getting to know you one-on-one in our conversations. So because this is an online class, you're just kind of mysterious names in the ether, and I like to be able to get to know you a little bit. So don't worry about having something to say. If you want to meet with me, you can just set up a meeting and we can just talk and find out what's going on with your semester and talk about what you like about the class or anything. It's no pressure to have something, to fill that time. Just reach out and we'll see where it goes. Because I like getting to know you. You will have an opportunity to complete a course evaluation. There's a link here for academic support in the class if you want somebody to read a paper before you submit it, besides your peer review partner. Those resources are available through campus. If you need accommodations, you can register with the disabilities office. You can also just reach out to me and I'll try to accommodate whatever you need to help you succeed in the class. So even if you don't have an official disability registered with that office. There are lots of links here about your health and wellness, like I posted many of them on Moodle. I already said, take care of yourselves. It's a weird time. It's been really hot. It reached 115 degrees this summer in Durham. All of these things impact our mental health. The flooding that we've witnessed. I kept posting more links about recent current crises, environmental crises that we're all living through in the Triangle. I mean, one of my favorite places, the Eno River State Park, has been closed since Hurricane Chantal came through a few months ago and resulted in higher river levels than in any time in history that's been recorded. So all of these things keep happening, and as I tried to include links, there was just more stuff happening, including flooding in downtown Raleigh last week. So I couldn't keep up with the climate events that are happening that I'm sure many of you have been affected by, even if only that's the heat this summer. But one of the things you'll do this semester is do more research about those impacts, local impacts in your hometown or in Raleigh where you're living now, if that's where you're living, or wherever you're living. So all of that climate, what's going on in the federal government and the ways that higher education is being impacted and what we're allowed to talk about and not allowed to talk about officially and unofficially. All of these things, changes, raids on immigrants, impacts to food benefits and housing security, all of these impacts are relevant to the class, to what we're doing together, and to how your learning can unfold. So I want you to be aware of that and to know that you're not alone if you're struggling this semester. It's a lot of people are in crisis. I've had more students since COVID just disappear, stop doing the work during the middle of the semester. And I want to help make sure that you stay safe and involved. And that's also part of the reason why I have a lot of class work in this class, group work, and group discussions, so that you can help check in on your group mates, make sure everyone's accounted for a few times throughout the semester, and support one another if you need that support. So if you have questions about the class, or if things come up for you, you're also encouraged to reach out to your group mates for academic support and other types of support to make sure that you can succeed in the class. One more thing about those group meetings is that you'll be submitting the schedule this week for your group meetings, which will take place weeks 4, 11, and 14. But if you need to reschedule those meetings, I know that like week 14 is a long way out. I'm showing you that link where you submit your group meetings. So here's your discussion group meeting dates, which you will submit. If you need to change those dates, it's your responsibility to work that out with your group before that meeting is supposed to take place. If you don't show up for a group meeting, you lose 50% of the discussion group grade automatically. If you miss all 3 of those discussion meetings, meaning you don't participate with your discussion group at all, you cannot pass the class, so you fail the class. So those discussions are really important. You'll have a chance to tell me what your meeting plan is, when you'll be meeting, where you'll be meeting, and that can be tentative. You don't have to let me know if that changes, but I want you to at least think about where you might want to meet. And then for each meeting, I think I already said this, but you'll choose one person in the group to facilitate, so that each person will be facilitating one meeting. So the facilitator's job is to, one, remind people about the meeting as the meeting date is approaching, to make sure everybody's still on board and going to attend the meeting. And then also to make sure the meeting is successful, keep the meeting running. The meetings should last at least 30 minutes, so it's the facilitator's job to also make sure that happens. If you run out of things to talk about in response to the official prompt, you should brainstorm more discussion questions for that meeting and then talk about those. But each meeting will have one group member who's sort of responsible for making sure things go well for that meeting, and then everyone after each meeting will submit a write-up, except in the case of the video, because you'll record the second group meeting and submit that recording. Only one person needs to do that. I think that's it. I'm actually sure I probably missed something, so be sure you read the syllabus thoroughly and carefully. It will also be included on Quiz 1. There's a lot of information in there about the details, and I will be emailing you and reminding you of things as they come up. I love teaching this class. It's so completely relevant at this moment. I'm in my backyard. I have my puppy, Disco, who maybe you'll see again throughout the semester. Feel free to show us your pets, if you have any, in your video introductions, and I hope you all have a wonderful semester.